Toy collectors are usually familiar with the traditional Generation 1 appearances of the Autobot leader Optimus Prime, as well as the Autobot City Commander that also served as temporary Autobot leader in Ultra Magnus. Both transform into trucks, both have held the matrix of leadership at some point, and both embody the noble characteristics you would expect in a role model, especially during the 1980s when they were conceived as characters. Flash forward to the early part of the 2000s and we'd see Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus reimagined as part of the Transformers Robots in Disguise cartoon as well as toy series. But are these characters important in this continuity, or are they just great looking robots that display nicely on your collection shelves? We'll talk about it right here on Toy Connections. Let's begin. With Hasbro announcing the Omega Prime project through their Haslab crowdfunding platform, it's worth revisiting the backstory of this character. Ultimately, Omega Prime is the merged form of the Robots in Disguise, Optimus Prime, and Ultra Magnus within this continuity. Yes, while the term Robots in Disguise was a catchphrase of the original Generation 1 series, its 2001 reimagining uses the same phrase now as the actual name of the series, based around what was then a new cartoon and toy. Note that in Japan, the same series was known as Transformers Car Robots and was released in the year 2000. Interestingly, Car Robots as a handle was previously used as a sub-series name in the Transformers predecessor series that was called Diaclone. Anyway, the Robots in Disguise, or Car Robots if you prefer, took place as a reboot of sorts. While the original G1 cartoon was continued and took place in the same universe as the follow-up Beast Wars and Beast Machines series that ran from 1996 through to 2000, Robots in Disguise had no storyline attachments to these earlier series. Optimus Prime is now a fire truck rather than being a semi-trailer, and Ultra Magnus remains as something of a car carrier truck like he was back during the days of G1. Their robot modes have a totally different design, though the color scheme stays largely intact. Where a bigger difference occurs though is through the relationship between Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus. During the days of G1, they are old friends who trust one another implicitly, given that during his 1986 Transformers movie death scene, Optimus passes the Matrix to Ultra Magnus, and Magnus acts as temporary leader of the Autobots. It's also implied that their bond goes back eons and eons, and that Ultra Magnus was the dock worker known as Dion, much like how Optimus was once called Orion Pax before being reformatted by Alpha Trion. However, in Robots in Disguise, Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus, well, they're brothers and are both directly said to have been created by Alpha Trion, but unlike their G1 counterparts, Ultra Magnus is largely resentful and probably jealous of Optimus, particularly because the Matrix, which still symbolizes leadership amongst the Autobots' ranks, chose Optimus to be its bearer. With a rivalry of sorts between the two, Ultra Magnus left Cybertron, embittered that he was passed over in favor of brother Optimus. That said, he'd resurface throughout the series, challenging Optimus for the right to hold the Matrix. The two would eventually form a powerful combiner together, and this is the mode that's referred to as Omega Prime. And that circles us back to what the 2024 Haslab campaign is offering. Going back to 2001 for a moment though, the Robots in Disguise Optimus and Ultra Magnus toys were sold separately. In Japan, for their Car Robots line, they were sold separately as Fire Convoy and God Magnus, and they could combine into a mode named God Fire Convoy rather than bearing the Omega Prime name in the US. There was also a clear gift set that contained the entire God Fire Convoy with both figures, and this gift set was the best place to get the Matrix sword with the original toy. Yes, the sword was also available by other rarer prize packs as well, but this gift set was the way that many collectors got it. Anyway, that's the same Matrix sword that you saw as a Tier 1 stretch goal for the Haslab campaign. It's interesting too that Ultra Magnus's gun, which is known as Blue Bolts, is advertised in Haslab as a separate character and not as a gun accessory like the early 2000s release. In any case, that's an overview on the backstory of Omega Prime, and it's noteworthy to see that Haslab is veering away from the usual G1 offerings, be it with Unicron or the modernized releases of Transformers Victory characters like Victory Saber and Deathsaurus. Let us know if this video was helpful and check out some of my other content right over here. Do me a favor and share this video with your friends, press that like button, and subscribe if you already have it. Otherwise, let's transform and roll out into the next video. See you next time.